Hi everyone, Amazing here. Welcome to my free Excel dashboard tutorial. I'm going to go ahead and open how to make Excel dashboard interactive. If I have it open, you can now see what's going to actually happen. It's not going to open, instead it's going to prompt us to where we have to enter in password and username. As you can see, it doesn't really open our dashboard for us. Instead, it gives us this particular form to fill before we can have access to a dashboard. This is what we're going to actually be creating from the scratch now. So I'm going to enter the dashboard username. So I'm going to say data with decision. So now here is the username. Let's say we don't know the password and wrongly enter the password that we just feel like, and we just click on enter. Like we hit on go. Now this is what we're going to have. So here is what we have: incorrect password or username. Please enter the correct login credentials. So now I'm just gonna say okay, I'm gonna clear this out and try to enter the right one. So once I have the right one entered, and I actually click on login, and we just logged it into our dashboard, and we have a message which says welcome to your dashboard Sky Water Nigeria. This is exactly what I'm trying to show you how to create from the scratch. Now in the previous video I've actually shown you how to create this dashboard that can actually sort between the highest and the lowest and stuff like that, and the reason why we are doing that, so watch the first video. I'm gonna be leaving a link below this very video. So in the previous video we've actually created this, so right now we're just gonna start to create the login form from the scratch. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go to developer. If you don't have a developer right here, click on any of this ribbon, just right click on it, and you're gonna see customize the ribbon. So I'm gonna do that because I've shown you in several videos I've actually have created. So I'm just gonna click on Visual Basic right here. So once I have Visual Basic clicked, I'm just gonna have this, and now I can actually feel like I want to make this full screen, which I really have. So now here's the workbook we are trying to use. I'm just gonna go to insert, and I'm gonna insert a user form. So just like this, I'm gonna make my user form to be bigger than this. I can choose to have my user form like this. This is really cool, but this is not everything we need to do. So we just need to actually get the user form right here. We want to get it away. We don't really want it. So I'm just going to click inside this particular user forms. I want to go to the caption and make sure I actually get this particular caption away, which means I don't need it. So if I click back on it right now, you can see this particular image right here. I'm just going to click on that image and actually have it dragged down to the end right here. Okay, fine, we've just gotten this right. So there is one thing we don't really have. We don't have the flexibility to actually have a nice design designed here in this particular Visual Basic area. So I'm just going to actually use an alternative to actually get it done. So let me show you what I'm going to do. Alright, here is a Photoshop. So we've just used Photoshop to have this design, just to make sure we get the kind of design we really wanted. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to have to export this out of Photoshop. Clicking right here, you can see save for web. You just click on save for web, and it's gonna actually say which folder do you really want to save this to. Now this is how we do that. So I'm just gonna click on OK and choose a folder I want to actually have this to go into. Okay, I'm gonna be naming this particular this to be YouTube. So I have it already though. I'm just going to say click on save, and it's going to actually ask me if I want to replace this. I'm going to replace it. So now it's just saved. So if you don't know how to use this, you can actually build a basic one, but I'm going to leave you with template as well. So right now I can actually cancel out, and this is what I have. So right now, clicking right here, I'm just going to make sure I go to where I have my picture in. Alright, here is my picture right here. I'm just going to click right in here and actually make sure I import the picture, just the image or what I just designed from Photoshop right here. So right now, here we go, we have this particular folder that pops up right now. So here is what we just exported from Photoshop. So right now I can double click on it and actually have it right here right now. So right now we have it, but it's not really too cool with what we really wanted. So what are we gonna do? I can actually go and do something very nice to make sure I have it where I really wanted it to be. So what am I going to do? You can see the picture size mode right here. So all you just need to do is to change the picture size mode to this particular FM. Now we have it. This is exactly what we really want. This is how we want our image to just look like. So the next thing we're going to do right now is just to insert some text box, and it's going to be very easy. Just click right here and actually go and see what we have text box and where we have label. So right now we're going to actually enter text box, and I'm going to drag my text box to start from here. I'm going to have to drag it down to this end, and this is what we need to do. So after I've done this, what I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to actually hold my control and actually copy it down to this particular aspect. So now we just have it right now. So if I click on run, this is how it's going to look. Now you can see I can start typing, but it looks some kind of weird. I'm just going to show you how to make this to be right. So we can cancel away this from here, and here we go. This is what we have. So first of all, what I'm gonna do right now is just to actually make sure I highlight the both of them and actually come to font area and actually click on this particular font, and it's gonna load. So nice one, we have this right here. I'm just gonna choose this particular bold right here and make sure I give it some kind of 14, right? Okay, I'm gonna click on OK, and that is okay. If I actually go and actually make sure I type in, now it's really cool. I really love what I'm seeing right now. So we're gonna do one more thing. So now, because what we are trying to use right here is a password, we don't really want that every single time we enter username and we come here we enter password and the password get visible to people looking at us typing it. So what I'm gonna do right now is to make sure I turn that into a star. So I'm just gonna click in right here and actually scroll all the way down. Then I'm gonna say this particular password character. So here, right here, I'm gonna actually have a single star inside it. And what I'm gonna do right now, if I just go and run it again, so make the code run, and I'm just gonna go right to the password. This is what we have. That is how we just get this cleared. So I'm just gonna cancel and still go back right here. So I'm gonna be using a label right here. Just click on this label and actually drag this label from here down to this particular aspect. I think I'm really cool with what I'm having right now. So once we have that label there, so what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna say enter. I'm gonna say enter username. So enter username, that is exactly what I really need to have right here. So what I've just done is just to speed this up. Right now, if you can see, we have enter username and enter password right here, which means if we run this, it's gonna look some kind of weird. So right now it's giving us some kind of color we don't really like right here. It's a gray color. So if I enter my username and password, I can't really see it, it's not visible. So right now what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna change that. So what I'm gonna do now is just to make sure I have this clicked and come right here and double click on this. It's actually gone, and I'm gonna click on right here as well and double click on this. So it's gone too. I'm gonna run it now and let's see what it really have. So if I have it run, so we still have one more issue to deal with. So we want to actually make the enter username and enter password to disappear every single time we want to type something. How do we do that? So we control that with a very simple 2 lines of code right now. So before we go ahead and create that, let us understand something right here. So we have this to be what to be label 1, we have label 2 right here, and we have this to be text box 1, as you can see the name text box 1, and we have this to be text box 2 because those are the things with the properties we're going to be using. So the next one, I'm just going to create one more label right here, which I'm going to actually drag this down, which is going to make the third label we're having. So I'm going to make sure I have this covered down to the last one here. So I'm just going to cover this as well. I'm just going to show you why I'm doing this. So if I come right to this particular aspect here, I'm just going to clear this out. I don't really need any of this. So that is all I need. So I'm going to actually have to do the same thing. Copy this, control, and actually have it right here. I'm going to make it very small. I don't need to have it covered down to the last one. So right now that is the last label I'm having. So which is this particular label? So I'm just going to double click on this right now and I'm going to type unload me. So that is exactly what I need to do. Then if I go back to my form and actually run this code to see if the code is really working, I'm gonna have to run it from here, and now I'm just gonna click right here. It's gonna cancel out because that is exactly what the function of unload me does. Now it's just really working for us. So we're back to the coding area. So right now in this first text box right here, as you can see text box 1, I'm gonna double click it. So now I'm gonna type in me. Okay, what we need to do right now is just to make sure we change this into an enter. So when we change this into an enter, we can clear this away from here now to make our code very clean. So we'll change that into an enter. So right now we're gonna actually type in me dot visible. So me dot visible is equal to false. Sorry, is gonna be me dot label 1 dot visible, then it's gonna be equal to false. So now here we go, which is equal to false. Let's run this code and see if this is really working. I'm just gonna click right here, and now the code is working. Now we can't really see it, it's been cleared, but we want it to show when we just move down. So what I'm gonna do right now is just to write in that code to make that to be very active. So I'm just gonna click back right here. So we're gonna leave our our cursor inside this particular aspect and actually go up to the top level right here and say on exit. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to use if condition. I'm going to say if, so I'm going to say if me dot text box 1 dot value is equal to empty. So then what I want you to do, I'm going to actually run this code right here. Just copy this from here, copy, and actually have it here. I'm going to run this code to be what? To be true. Now, which means if there is nothing on it, let me show you what I'm trying to do right now. And actually have to run it from here. Now, if I actually, excuse me, let me do this. So the problem we're having is that we've not actually ended our if right here. I'm going to say end if. So make sure you are separating them. So I'm going to say end if. So right now, if I actually make sure I reset it, and it's going to go run now. And once it's actually go down, can you see it disappeared and it comes back. So right now I can actually make this and duplicate it for others. So what I'm going to do right now is just to make sure I click in right here. All we just need to do is just to make a little track to what we've just done, copy it and actually paste it right here. This is one of the beauty of this particular dashboard. Okay, fine, I'm going to say 2 right here. I'm going to go right here and actually change this to 2, and the text box I'm going to actually have this to be in 2 as well. So now we have the text box changed into 2, this text box changed, and we have this labeled into 2 because we are having label 1, now we have a label 2, text box 2, and all true and all of that. So let's go ahead and run this and see. Now this is what it is. Can you see that? Now it's not disappearing. Every single time we want to type something, and if we want to go type, you can see everything is being cleared right now. So this is exactly what it is, cancelled, and we are done with that particular aspect. So the next thing we're going to do is that if we actually try as much as we could to actually start this particular Excel to bring it up to actually open the workbook, I wouldn't want it to open. So what we're going to be doing now, we're going to be writing a code in this particular this workbook. I'm going to actually double click it and come right here and make a change of the workbook. So now I'm going to say application that visible then equal to false. So now if we've done this, so we are actually restricting the application not to start right now, which is the Excel workbook, your Excel dashboard, whatever file you actually name it. So we're actually restricting it not to work. The next we're gonna do right now, this user form right here, we're gonna set it to what? We're gonna set it to, so the user form right here, we're gonna set it to true. I'm gonna say, so we're gonna say user form, I'm gonna say user form 1 dot show. So user form 1 dot show. Instead of our workbook to actually pops up, this is what we're gonna have, user form dot show. And make sure you're spelling, you're having the right spelling right here. It's user form dot show, and we have it user form 1 dot show. So right now we are done from here. The next thing we're gonna go back to our user form again. So we have it right here. So click on it. So let us write the code that's gonna actually help us to get what we really want from it. So right now we just have to configure the login path right here, so we don't need to go to the text box again. So we still remember we have our text box 1, we have our text box 2 right here. So right now I'm going to double click on this. So this is what I'm going to do. So just go to the top right here and actually make sure it's on click right now. So we need to set the password and username we want to use for our workbook to open it. So I'm just going to say if me dot text box 1 right here. So if me dot text box 1 dot value, so we just make sure it's value dot value is equal to, so right now we need to set a password. What do we want to give it as a password? I'm gonna say okay, I'm gonna say YouTube. So YouTube, make sure you know if you're having capital letter on your YouTube. So I'm gonna use capital letter for the first letter, it's very important. So if me dot YouTube, so I'm just gonna close this right here. So all we just done is this, if me dot textbox 1 is where our username is. So if the username the user actually provided in is actually YouTube, then and me dot textbox 2, where is the which is the password, dot value and equal to this. I'm gonna say password in capital letter. I'm gonna say password. So we're gonna have this closed as well. So then I'm gonna say then application dot visible equal to true. Exactly. Okay, the next thing we're going to do right now is just to run this and see if it's really working, and as well we can actually test it out and see if there is any break on it. So I'm going to test it and see. So right now if I run this, okay, so let's see if this is going to work. Okay, we have value right here. It's not supposed to be value. Can't assign to read only property, so we're going to change this to what, to visible. That is exactly what I want to do. So visible. So we just need to actually run that. So click back on it, and we're going to turn this to visible. So it's going to be on visible, and now I'm going to have to put my end if right here, and outside end if I'm going to actually say unload me. If that is true, if it's really working, it's going to actually unload me, which means it's really working for us. So now I'm just going to go right here and say, I'm going to say okay, run. I'm going to type YouTube, and the password I'm going to actually type in right here, and it's working right because it has actually unlocked me. So I'm just going to go back to the same application right here and actually do something different. So right now we need to leave a message. If that is really true, we need to leave a message to actually show that yes, we've logged in. I'm just going to click in right here, and I'm going to go down to this particular aspect. I'm going to say MSG box. So now, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to say okay, successfully logged. If successfully logged in, so we can just leave it that way. So I'm going to actually go and say else if the password and username is not really true. So I'm going to say else msg, which is going to give us a message again, msg box. So it's going to be wrong password and username. That is wrong password or username. So I'm gonna actually have to close this, and let's test it out if this is really working for us, which means if I go like this, so wrong password or username, which means I've not actually provided anything. And I'm gonna actually go right now and type in YouTube. I'm gonna go right here and type in the password. If I actually hit enter, you have successfully logged in. This is exactly what it is. So right now what we need to do right now is just to shut this down and actually start it and see if it is gonna really work for us. So I'm just gonna have to close this right here. I'm gonna click on save. I need to have it saved for the first time. So all we need to do is to locate the particular workbook right here. Here's the workbook. I'm going to double click on it and try to open the workbook and let you see what's going to happen. It's not going to come up, else it's going to actually prompt us to that particular Excel. So it's actually, I'm going to close this and actually have to try this again. It's going to actually go well this time around. So this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what we just have right here. So right now if we cancel that, it doesn't cancel that, but we don't need to cancel. Instead we need to provide it with the password and the username. So I'm just going to give it the username to be YouTube, and I'm going to give the password a wrong password for now. I'm going to include something different. So if you look at it, we can log in, wrong password, wrong password or username. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to say okay. So now I need to actually get the extra one away from here and click, and it's going to actually log me in. So it's no more wrong password, neither your wrong username. So you have successfully logged in into the dashboard. So right now you can see what the dashboard is. So if you want to actually explore what the dashboard is right now, going to the back end, we have a lot of analysis that is actually going on right here that you need to actually take a look at and see what is going on and how we run these huge functions or huge formulas to actually get this created. It's very simple and very easy. You can see this. some kind of huge formulas right here, but it's really pretty nice to be created. So it's not that huge. It's something that you can do in some few minutes. Just take a look at that first video about how to create this Excel dashboard that can actually go on with a password and using it to actually have your dashboard created and stuff like that. So then you're gonna know what it is that this dashboard is actually doing. If you look at what is happening right here, you can see we have this particular names of people who actually produce for this company, because what the company data is all about is actually a company that is actually into bottled water production. So right now, every single time they make production, they keep records, and they have 7 producers in their companies. So they want to see who is actually having the highest production in terms of 150 CL. So when I click on 150 CL right now, it's going to actually give me from the highest to the lowest. So this is the person that is actually having this first, highest, second, third, and stuff like that. You can see it them right here. And if we go to this 60 CL, it's gonna be a different thing if I actually click on this and sort them right now. So now if I click on this and sort them, you see different name actually come up, and you see the highest right here. So right now we have damages every single time we make production. So we want to see where are those damages come from and who is having the lowest damage ever. So right now, if you look at what we have right here, the names we have right here is going to change every single time we make a sort to a new one. So we want to see damages based on 150 CL. So clicking on it, I have the name changes, and it's giving me the lowest person with this number 45, 47, 50, 54. Now you can see the names right here. So if we go by 60 CL, so we're gonna see maybe the name right here will change as well. So can you see that it just changed to something different? So this is how it is. We are using this to sort, and it's going to make our decision makers or managers whatsoever to actually that whatsoever he or she needs to see will definitely get to actually interact with the dashboard, right? So now we have some kind of we have something that we need to meet up, which is the target. So we have this target to be 18% right here, and we have this target line on it. So we have this smiling face to actually show who is actually meeting the target in these particular weeks. We have week to week, from week 1 to week 18 right here, and every single time we make a selection of this particular like, can you see that everything just get changes? The dashboard just get to actually update, and here updates as well. So if I keep going like this, you can see it's changing. Now we have 2 persons actually meet the target, and you can see the target is beyond the target line right here. And this is how awesome this Excel dashboard could be. So if you've not watched this before and you want to take a look at how we just created something like this, you might not need to create something exactly like this, but the knowledge we have right here, you can apply it to what you really want to do. I want to say thank you very much for watching. If you're still watching to this end, give it a thumbs up and actually share the content to others. And if you've not gotten the template, just order for the template. I'm gonna send it to your Gmail or to your email whatsoever. Thanks for watching. Stay blessed, stay out of trouble, and stay clean.